Epstein's Black Book, RUVALED, Chris Rock, Richard Branson, others associated with criminal. Hey there, folks. So, bombshell was just dropped exposing Jeffrey Epstein's deep connections with celebrities and elites. Never before seen emails, private calendars, you name it, have been revealed. It's a wild ride, revealing ties with Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Sean Parker, and even discussions with past presidents and prime ministers. Now, what's really raising eyebrows is the involvement of some big names. We're talking Irina Shayk, Chris Rock, Richard Branson, Peter Thiel, and more. The crazy part is these files were handed over by Epstein's estate to the U.S. Virgin Islands government, and the media took the reins, breaking down who's who in the shady web. But here's the kicker. They're digging into J.P. Morgan's role. How much did they know about Epstein using the bank for, let's say, less than legal financial transfers? There are emails floating around involving J.P. Morgan figures, and it's making us wonder, did they turn a blind eye? And it's not just about rubbing shoulders with celebs. Epstein had this creepy private address book, revealing his attempts to cozy up to public figures, maybe to rehabilitate his image. This was all happening after he served time for pedophilia. It's a real head-scratcher. Oh, and there's juicy stuff about Prince Andrew and Bill Gates. Epstein apparently had the inside scoop on their lives, and he was even trying to rope in J.P. Morgan for a $100 million fund with Bill Gates. This is around the same time we found out Epstein was allegedly blackmailing Gates. It's like a messy soap opera, isn't it? It's insane how Epstein managed to have these influential people on speed dial. He started as a teacher, made a killing as a stockbroker, and then used that money to buy his way into high society. Even Noam Chomsky is involved, with Epstein apparently helping him out with money matters. But here's the big question. Why were these big shots associating with Epstein, knowing his past? Why did Bill Gates need him to advocate for a donation or work on financial deals? It's a murky picture, and we're wondering if more figures were coerced into these relationships. This whole thing is like a Hollywood drama, with Chris Rock, Richard Branson, and a magician named David Blaine thrown into the mix. Epstein's connections are just mind-boggling. So stay tuned as this lawsuit unfolds in the Virgin Islands. It's a roller coaster, and there are a lot of nervous folks watching, especially Bill Gates, who's quick to distance himself from the mess. Now, you might be wondering about the political implications, right? Well, Epstein's connections span both sides of the aisle. You've got him with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Bill Clinton. It's like a who's who of elites, and the common theme here is money, fame, and influence. It's not about politics. It's about power. This whole saga is like a classic tale of elites versus everyone else. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you had money or prestige, Epstein was interested in you. It's a story of how the wealthy and powerful can buy their way into high society or be courted for their influence. It's this weird mix of money, coercion, and favor trading. Bill Gates might have distanced himself, but the questions about who else might be entangled in Epstein's web remain. So buckle up, folks. This is one wild ride of scandals, connections, and a cast of characters you wouldn't believe were associated with someone like Epstein. As the legal battles unfold, we'll likely get even more shocking revelations. Now let's talk about some of the specific revelations that have us scratching our heads. We've got emails showing J.P. Morgan officials cozying up to Epstein, and that's a red flag. In one email, a J.P. Morgan figure talks about giving Epstein a heartfelt hug in New York City. I mean, seriously? It raises questions about just how much certain institutions were willing to look the other way when dealing with someone like Epstein. And then there's the whole Bill Gates situation. We recently found out about Epstein allegedly blackmailing Gates, and now we see Epstein trying to work on Bill Gates' behalf in financial contexts. It's a bizarre dance of power dynamics. Why would Gates need someone like Epstein to navigate financial dealings? It's not adding up, and it makes you wonder if there's more to the story. The private address book is another piece of this puzzle. Epstein's intimate connections with influential figures, scheduling meetings, and trying to rehab his image after serving time for pedophilia. It's all pretty surreal. How did he manage to maintain these relationships, and what were the dynamics at play? These are questions that the ongoing lawsuit might help answer. And let's not forget the international angle. Epstein was playing a global game, trying to persuade J.P. Morgan to work with Bill Gates on a $100 million fund. This is the same time he allegedly had compromising information on Gates. The connections and power plays in this story are just mind-boggling. As we dive deeper into this saga, it's becoming clear that Epstein wasn't just a lone actor. He had enablers, institutions turning a blind eye, and a network of powerful people willing to associate with him. The question now is, how deep does this rabbit hole go? And who else will be implicated as more details emerge? So, keep your eyes peeled, because this Epstein story is far from reaching its conclusion. With each revelation, we're getting a closer look at the hidden world of the rich, powerful, and sometimes the morally questionable. Stay tuned for the next twist in this gripping tale. If you're as intrigued by the twists and turns of the Epstein saga as we are, Make sure you don't miss a single update. Subscribe to our channel to stay on top of the latest revelations, deep dives into the world of the rich and influential, and thought-provoking discussions on the stories that matter.